Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the amazing trio of upcoming people from the amazing Behold, and that is Llana, Minna, and Bryan. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hi, good.
Fantastical. Thanks for having us.
I'm very, very excited about this. Just from what I've learned about Behold, and obviously working with Llana before, this is something very exciting for me to try to help you guys out a little bit. But before we talk about why we're here, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. So, Lana's been here before. She is an award-winning actress, producer, and screenwriter. She is known for her work on Curse of Aurora, which you guys already know on the channel, and Izzy Lion, The Unspun Truth. She has received Best Actress Awards for her performances in Curse of Aurora at Ravenheart Film Festival in Oslo, Norway, and for the short film Committed at the Boston Film Festival. But on top of that, you guys might recognize her voice as being featured in a number of video games, notably Ellie Holloway in Silent Hill Homecoming. So a lot's happened since the last time we hung out, Llana. How's life been treating you?
Good. Yeah, we got through COVID, and then we were like, let's make another movie. So here we
And you guys know Curse of Aurora. We talked about that the last time that you were here. So it's amazing to see how far that came and how far that went, because I was a huge fan of the film, and I'm very glad that it got the accolades that it did. Where can people check that out now if they haven't seen it yet? Is it still available streaming? I think we lost you.
Testing. Did we lose
Oh,
my mic?
there you are. Now you're back.
Hello? That's weird.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Well, where can people catch Curse of Aurora if they haven't been able to see it yet?
Yeah, Curse of Aurora is now available for free streaming on Amazon Prime Video, if you remember. Tubi, Roku. You can also buy it on iTunes or rent it. I think it's still rentable on Vudu. Minna, am I missing any?
I don't think so. I think that's all of them. It's hard to keep track. We just keep adding them. So
Right. The good thing is you guys don't have to go far if you haven't seen it yet, because I have the links for it right down in the description. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you're checking that out as well. Now, Bryan, you are a Los Angeles-based actor who fell in love with acting in his hometown of Boise, Idaho. Upon moving to LA to pursue the dream, you teamed up with your sister for their hit YouTube comedy series, Sibs. So, obviously you've been behind the camera for a long time. This is something that you've always loved doing. As someone that loves YouTube, loves doing film, what is the difference for you between working like with your sister on YouTube stuff and working on film?
Oh man. Well, on Sibs with my sister, that was kind of my first dose of all hands on deck. Both of us, between the two of us, we both wore so many hats, and it got quite stressful, just to say the least. And that really tested our relationship, to be honest, in a fun and interesting way. But being a part of something like Behold, just coming on, getting to just act and do my thing, it was a lot easier on me, I'll say that.
Right. Well, I mean, you go from that, working with your sister, which is obviously something with a more comfortable, somebody you've grown up with, someone you have that comforting feeling with, to roles in several different films and TV shows. Jesse Thunderwake, American Icon, on Sci-Fi Channel's Face Off and Game Face, all these different things that you've been a part of. Now, TV series and film, we know, are two completely different animals. Now, when you're working on a TV series and you're working on a feature film, what are the differences for you in doing those?
Well, with my experience in TV so far, I've come on for like bit parts. I haven't had something that's, that I've been a part of from start to finish or anything like that. So like you come into these very well-oiled machines, but you kind of come in as the new guy. You're kind of almost separate from everyone else who has their clicks already and their inside jokes. But, you come in and you do your job and you're happy to be there. But also, like, while that was what I was expecting coming into Behold, with this production company called Cinema that has already worked together so many times and done all these amazing films together, I was very pleasantly surprised that immediately that was not the case. I mean, Minna picked me up from my Airbnb, and she was just the warmest person ever. And I walked into the house for the first day of shooting, and everyone was just swarming me with love. And welcome me and accepting me, and it was great. It was a very, very awesome experience coming on and working with these guys.
I mean, even just from what I know, from what I've done with cult cinema here on the podcast and on personal levels, some of the best people in the world. So when I got the opportunity to bring you guys on to do this, I jumped, like literally leapt at the opportunity to have you guys on here because I'm such a huge fan of cult cinema and the things that you guys have done in the past. So last but definitely not least, the amazing Minna has been working in the entertainment industry, both in front of and behind the camera since the age of 4 when she appeared in her first commercial. And she has performed in over 40 musicals, acted in a television series with Ryan Reynolds. That sounds familiar. I feel like I know him from somewhere.
I don't know.
Directed a short film and been featured in several film roles. So I often compare being in film or TV and doing musicals and, regular theater to kind of being in a band. When you are making a movie or a TV show, that's you creating your record. You're in there, you're perfecting it, you're polishing it. Then when you're on stage, whether it be theater or musical, that's when you're playing your show. That's when you're playing your concert. You have the live audience in front of you. You can't go back and do take 2. So obviously these are two separate things, but they are both very well entwined in the entertainment industry. So what is the big difference in preparation for you between doing TV, movies, or being on stage?
I kind of approach both the same way in terms of the acting aspect of it, because it's all about homework, right? You got to know your character, you got to know what you're doing. But the thing that I find the biggest difference is rehearsal time. For some films, you do get rehearsal, but often not. You do a lot of that work yourself. But with a piece of theater, there is a ton of rehearsal. And I love that. I really do. I love getting to gel with everybody and work with them and create a family and build that momentum that is going to ride you through when someone trips up on a line and you have the deer in the headlights and someone goes, no, I got you. You can do that in film as well and keep the camera rolling and have those wonderful, happy accidents. We get them all the time, but it's not the same because you have that live audience and the show don't stop. You got
exactly. Yeah, there's no take 2, please. Take 2.
Exactly. The only person who gets to do that is Patti LuPone when she stops someone in the audience with their cell phone going, but I'm not her, so.
Well, and also directing a short film. A lot of people look at it as, oh, you're doing a short film. That's got to be easier than doing a full-length feature. When in a lot of cases, I think it's quite the opposite, because when you're doing a short film, you have a much shorter amount of time to tell a big story where you got to make people fall in love with your characters. You got to make your story believable. And you don't have an hour and 20-minute runtime to make these things happen. You got to have it happen quick, fast, in a hurry to catch these people's attentions and make them care. So what did you find that was different working on a short film than working on a full-length feature?
I think you just summed it up perfectly, actually. The thing that that caught me the most was how quickly you needed to encapsulate a vision. Because that was my first foray into directing. I think it might be my only foray into directing. I don't know. It wasn't super for me, but I'm really glad that I did it because I got the chance to really sit in that seat and understand exactly all the nuances. And I think it makes me a better actor. It absolutely makes me a better producer because I know I have a modicum of a clue of what's needed, but having to sort of boil down a vision into such a short time frame and a short shoot as well. When we did that film, it was a 2-day shoot for a 24-page script. So we did 12 pages a day, which now granted, there wasn't a lot of practical effects or, special effects, anything like that going on. It was limited scene locations, but man, it's a hike. It was a hike. So yeah, it was definitely the time change and getting that vision just locked in is tricky.
It really is. And like I said, I love short films. I think that they are an art style of their own because you have to tell these stories in a much quicker amount of time, but you can't skimp on character development. You can't skimp on the feeling, the love. It doesn't matter what kind of short horror or what kind of short film it is, whether it's horror, sci-fi, action. It's got to have love to it. You got to be able to feel something for these characters and the things that are happening in your film. So absolutely. I have nothing but the utmost respect, love, and admiration for anybody that works on short films because I know it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So we've introduced you guys a little bit here. Let people get to know you, and the way you guys can get to know them even better is by following them on social media. I have all their links down in the description. So if you want to stay up to date on all the things they have coming up for us in the future, the best thing to do is click these links, hit that follow button, and join their family. Stay up to date on all the things that they're doing. Now, today we're here to talk about the upcoming Behold, something that the minute I got the press pack for this, I was hooked. I was completely hooked. Religious horror is right up my alley. This is something that I've always said is the scariest thing to me, because you need that juxtaposition of good and evil. So I want to start with you real quick, Llana. What was your inspiration for the film? Because I know that you are a co-writer and also acting in the film. What was some of your inspiration during the writing process of this film? You're muted.
So professional here, the audio engineer. Oh, all right. You can hear me okay? We're good. All right. Yeah, so I grew up in a very religious family. And I experienced some things that I think that as I got older, I realized maybe were a little much. And it kind of gave me some confusion moving forward as an adult about right and wrong. And sometimes I think when we focus on something, we make it too black and white. Like there's no room for any in between. And sometimes I think the world kind of looks at things like that. And this film is it sort of blurs a little bit of that. And it's we've got a lot of wonder behind, is this thing, we'll get into more about that, but like, is this thing good or bad? And how two people and two perspectives can look at something that's exactly the same and see something completely different. I think that perspective difference between people, which we've seen so much, I think, in recent times, just a lot of like political upheaval and religious upheaval and people just being like, I'm right and you're wrong. And
right.
Being so in their heads that you can't imagine what seeing maybe something from someone else's perspective could be like. And, is what you're seeing distorted by an opinion maybe that was hammered into you all your life, or not, so anyway, these are just some different elements that we, kind of hope that we open up for conversation when people watch this.
Perception is reality to a lot of people, and the way I see it is the only way that it is. I don't need to see it any other way because I can see it right in front of my face. So when you can take that and put it on its head, like you said, the two people can tell the exact same story with a totally different outcome. So I love that idea of maybe your perception is different because of how bad you want something to be what it is. Not
Right.
what it is, but how bad you want it to be what you're looking for in this situation. Yeah. So you talked, Bryan, how you came into cult cinema. You were a little bit nervous, because they were pretty much established with who they work with and who they are, and then you got this really handsome, drop dead gorgeous dude coming in to, kind of do his thing. How did you get attached to the project, and what are some of your inspirations when you're building your character?
Well, I as many did, I'm sure. I saw the casting on lacasting.com, casting networks, and submitted. And initially, they sent me an audition request, and I started the audition. And like, I was just having a weird day that day, and just decided, like, you know what, whatever I'm about to do isn't going to be the best I can do. I can put that off until like a couple more days. So then I came back to it. And then I was just so in the mood for it. Just like all the emotion was there that needed to be there. And I just spit it out. And thankfully that spoke to Llana and Minna and the producers, and they wanted to have me on. They had me do another round of auditions with the same scenes with a little bit of adjustments. And yeah, I mean, thankfully it lucked out. And next thing I know, I was going out to North Carolina to have the time of my life with these guys, and 3 weeks of night shoots. And it was a really amazing time. And as far as like finding the character and the inspiration behind that, a lot of it is on the page. It was just very well written. Upon reading the whole script, I just had a very clear idea of what Peter should be. Initially, he was written to be a little bit more of an asshole to Rebecca, and there's definitely some of that still, quite a bit. But they were very, very warm and accepting of my ideas of what to do with the character as well. And to me, I mean, I know I wouldn't particularly love seeing a husband be a complete prick to his wife for an hour and a half. So you know, for me, finding the character was a little bit of like, what's gonna make this guy like palatable. And to me, I just had to get across that there was once a very loving and accepting relationship between these two characters. And so like in the middle of filming, just with my chemistry with Llana, it was easy to find those moments where I could just sprinkle them in. They just came naturally and wasn't something that I had planned. I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't know where I would do it. So thankfully, I just had an amazing cast to work with, and it all really just came very naturally. I was very lucky to be blessed with my castmates. So
Right. Well, and when you're playing something that's completely not you, when you're playing something out of character, I feel like that's when you can have the most fun, because you
yeah,
can pretend to be this thing that you know you're not. That's not your integrity. That's not your character. But you can bring that to life. So I feel like as an actor, that's more rewarding than for you to walk in and them to go, "Hey, Bryan, we want you to play Bryan." You know, I play Bryan every day. Give me a challenge here. So for you to come in and play this guy that in his eyes is maybe doing the right thing, but by traditionally, and I'm trying to go as non-spoilery from what I've seen as I can, but you know, he in his mind, in his eyes, he's trying to help. He's
right.
trying to be a light. He just doesn't realize that his light sucks.
It
So,
really sucks. And I
I
really liked what you said too about, you know, this force that comes into the house. I guess we'll get into that in a way. I don't want to get too ahead of it, so I don't spoil anything. But yeah, what you said earlier was very true. And one of the most interesting things about this script that I thought too was this thing comes into the house and it manifests in a way that uses Peter and his faith against him, thinking that, you know, again, I'm about to pull a Tom Holland and spoil something, but it uses his faith to basically further
Right. If I
separate
start
him.
going like this, then you
Right.
Is that a sniper? No,
and
but
that's what I love though. Like, even
Excuse
because
me,
we are going to
someone-
get to the trailer here in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I want you guys to see this trailer. I'm so excited for you to see it, because not only are you going to get to see the trailer, but you're going to get to see Llana pour her heart out a little bit about the project and what it means to her. But you know, when you're watching this and you see what's the difference in some people's eyes between a blessing and a curse, what can be a blessing to one person and maybe revealing itself to somebody else is something that's completely a curse. So to watch, like I said, I was hooked the minute I seen the trailer. You got me. I'm in. I'm ready to go. And like with you, Minna, you've worked with cult cinema before. What was
Yeah.
something about this that was a lot different to you that made you more excited to work on Behold?
Well, I got to be in it, so that was fun. Um, no, I love working on whatever we've got going on. To me, the craft is acting, and the craft is all the crafts that we do while we're getting ready to shoot. So I just love the whole process. But getting to be on screen really gives me a chance to flex my acting muscles, and which I love doing. And who doesn't, right? When you're an actor, you're just like, give me all the things.
Yeah.
Oh. No, it was so much fun to do, and yeah, it was different in that it took longer than Curse did. We had a longer shooting schedule for this one, didn't we, Llana? I think this one was longer.
Yes, so
I
filming
think.
days, because I think we only shot for 13 days on Curse, and this was
Yeah,
like,
and this was
maybe 20
21 or something.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still a short
Yeah.
shoot. Like we don't mess around. We're
Right.
you know we do them quick. But it was definitely, it gave us more time. It was a longer film as well in terms of how much footage we shot. So you want to have those extra days.
A lot more time in pre-production to, you know, getting
Yeah, well,
ready
we lived
for it.
together. We called it a commune. We lived in Llana's house for 3 months, and we did a month of pre-production, and then well, 2.5, I guess, month of pre-production, and then all the filming and cleaning up her house afterwards. That was fun.
We painted walls. I mean, we changed the place around, you know.
We really did.
We knew we had one asset, which was a house to shoot in. And so that was, I think, actually a big inspiration for coming up with a story that only involves a couple of characters. It was, you know, how can we make a movie following Curse of Aurora that's like maybe as cheap as it costs to make a found footage horror, but if we do it simply enough with a sort of a simple enough story, more drama and more acting, you know, and we shoot it really beautifully, then we've got ourselves something, you know, potentially, you know, way better. So
yeah.
You know,
and we were really lucky on this one with our first film with Kurt. Well, I guess it's our second film with Curse. It was all sort of Blair Witchy, handheld, and you know, capture the moment as it happens. And that was the point of that film. We wanted to do it that way without it being like a throwy uppy juggle around kind of thing. But with this one, we were lucky enough to have a great cinematographer named Anthony Kuntz come and work with us. He's a prof at USC, and he teaches this for a living. He's brilliant at what he does, and he and our gaffer slash grip slash all of the things, Will Novi, they have this beautiful language between the two of them, which always started with Mr. Novi or you know, Mr. Coons, and they'd speak this beautiful language, and all of a sudden we'd look at the screen in Video Village and there was just this beautiful scenario set up for us, and we were ready to go. And that happened on every single shot, and we couldn't have been luckier. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I do real quick want to say, if there's any of you out there that are looking to start a punk rock band and you're looking for a band name, Throwy Uppy is just the coolest punk rock band name ever. So if you're in the market for a punk rock band name, I will strongly recommend Throwy Uppy. I just think that would be perfect. Now,
excellent. I'm taking a commission on that though.
Market it. So now obviously I do want to show you guys the trailer. I want to take your blue balls away here for a second and actually give you what you came here to see. So we are now going to premiere on Sledgehammer Horror's channel. You can find it on YouTube as well, but I wanted to premiere it here as well. Here is the trailer for Behold.
It's been rough, Peter.
We've talked about this so many times.
I know. But I'm doing better.
No. You're not.
Oh, I'm sorry that I am struggling. What was I supposed to do? Huh? Just move on like you? Slap a smile on my face and pretend like nothing ever happened?
Dear Heavenly Father, I ask you once again for your patience and healing upon Rebecca. We know that sometimes it can be extra hard to change our spirits.
Give me the strength to stand up to my demons, Lord. Something is going on here, Peter. At first I thought I might be hearing things.
It's a miracle.
He's here!
Hey everyone, I'm Llana Barron, co-creator and star of Behold. On behalf of our small but mighty team at Cult Cinema Productions, thank you for watching our trailer. We wrapped production for Behold in March, and we've been working our tails off in post to bring you a beautiful, artistic, high quality, and of course, very creepy piece of cinema. At Cult Cinema, we do everything ourselves. We build our own props, practical effects, sets. We all wear a million hats, and we work together like a family. And we're so excited to tell you that we're well underway on our second cut. Behold is a story that is very dear to my heart. I wanted to write something that takes a look at stark perspective differences between people and challenges what we think is good versus evil, as well as how religion can sometimes be deceiving. As someone who has experienced religious trauma firsthand, it was important to me to make a horror film that captured the spirit of that. So we shamelessly asked our friends and our family for money, and we received just enough to finish shooting the film. But we need a little bit more to get us to the end. Behold still needs a full visual effects pass, color grading, and final audio mixing and mastering. These elements will be crucial to selling our story and making Behold look and sound the way it was intended.
Any contribution, big or small, is huge to us, and we have some really fun and exciting perks that we can't wait to share with you. You can also simply help by sharing this campaign with your friends, families, mortal enemies, house ghosts if you have them. Thank you so much for watching and supporting independent filmmakers. We appreciate you, and we can't wait to take you on our Behold journey.
Amazing. Like I said, you got the trailer. You also got Llana in there spilling her heart on how important this Indiegogo is, because something I think we always forget because we're spoiled and we have streaming services out the wazoo now. And we just feel like these people have all the money in the world and they can do what they want. But a lot of it happens because of crowdfunding. And especially with horror movies that are in the independent circuit, they live and breathe on us. So I do have this Indiegogo link down in the description. And not only do you get some perks to go along with helping them create their art, and your name will always be attached to this piece of art forever. That's the bottom line. We're helping these people create art. They're creating their dream. They're creating a movie for all of us so we can be entertained. And I think if we learned anything during the unfortunate lockdowns that we had, it is to be appreciative of what you don't have. And so these guys are out there busting their ass, working their asses off to make, they just filmed a whole fucking movie in 2.5, 3 weeks. That's hard to do, guys. That's really hard to do, especially when you're doing what, 80% night shoots. Would that be accurate to say?
Yeah, 96% night shoots. Yeah.
So their sleeve schedule's gotten all messed up. They're doing all that. So if you have the means, please make sure you're checking out the Indiegogo. They do have some amazing perks that come your way, but at the end of the day, it's all about helping artists create art. That's what we're here for, to try to help artists create art. And I couldn't rock with any more amazing people than them. That's, like I said, I was able to help with Curse of Aurora. This to me is just the follow-up, and I'm super excited about this too. So we talked about some of the perks and things like that, Llana, and how important this film is to you guys, but we haven't really gotten into a non-spoiler synopsis of the film. So if you had to describe this movie in 30 seconds without spoiling anything, what would your synopsis, non-spoiler, of Behold be?
Husband and wife going through failed marriage are presented with a strange entity from beyond, and they must figure out if this thing is good or evil. You think I would have a much better pitch for that? We have like 20 versions of the synopsis that I wrote, all of those versions. You think I could, but my elevator pitching skills are apparently terrible. So I'm just gonna go back to my day job now.
Well, no. What I love about this is right when the trailer starts, you're hooked. The minute you get the trailer, you know something terrible has happened to this husband and wife. And something I wanted to ask you about, Bryan. Earlier, you were talking about how you could still see the seeds of love in this relationship. And obviously, I don't want to assume too much. Something bad happened in this family, and he's still trying to pull it back together and make it work. This traumatic incident, do you think that was really where the changing of the guard of where this relationship started to, I don't want to say sour, but where he started to become more firm and aggressive and trying to get what he wanted?
I would definitely say so. It's kind of a massive event in both of their lives, and it definitely drew them further and apart for more than one reason. But I think Peter really dove into his work, which as sort of a televangelist, he has all this praise coming from his congregation, and he can kind of hide himself in that and forget about his worries and his family, his poor wife at home. And I think definitely his way of dealing it, which is sort of not dealing with it, as not to overgeneralize, but a lot of guys might do. Mm-hmm. I think that definitely very much so contributed to the marriage going to shitsville, if you will.
Well, according to the trailer, she just can't move on like you did. So, obviously it was a lot easier for you to just move on. And like I said, things like that, especially now that I'm 37, I've been married for 18 years. I have 3 kids. So when you see something like this, and again, the hints that are dropped in the trailer, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but you guys just watch the trailer. As a parent, your heart's already breaking. As somebody who's married their high school sweetheart, seeing this relationship of how bad his intentions seemed the best, but you could also feel that underlying what's going on here. There's something not right in this situation. So we talked a lot about Peter. and your character, Bryan. But I haven't got to talk to you, Minna, about your character much at all. Spoiler free. What can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Spoiler free. Her name's Miriam. She is one of the church elders, and essentially the guidance counselor at the church. She's the one that people go to when they're a little confused and they're not quite sure how to get through a day. She's the one that guides them through, clearly with a very religious aspect to it. It's very Bible based and very very structured. But that's her main role, is helping, and she does, and then stuff happens. I don't know what more to say about that.
So
she does. She helps in her way.
So
there are a lot of things that happen. It's true.
There are a lot of things.
She is. I will also add. She is also the marriage counselor for Peter and Rebecca. So she has a vested interest in both of them, and seems to probably know more intimately about each of them than maybe anyone else.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
See, I didn't even know if I could say that. I was like, she's the church counselor lady. Like, I don't know what
you can say that.
Spoiler is.
It's all right. It's all right.
So this next question is for both.
Wrong, you'll feel like a buzz, and then you're gonna just like jump off your chair, and you'll know. Like,
perfect. I didn't realize my chair was rigged up to your house. That's good to know.
Right.
Yeah. Have a button.
That's part of the small print that you should have read.
Yes.
That. So this next question is for both Minna and Llana. You guys worked together on Curse of Aurora, and even before that, you guys have worked on other projects together. When you start to become familiar with people by working on not the same films, but working on the same projects together, does that create more of like a togetherness of, I kind of get the idea of how you work. I kind of get the idea of how you work. How can we make this a little bit quicker to both of us, because we're starting to learn each other's routines, kind of learning what each other expects. By working on Curse of Aurora and these other things you guys have done, did that make filming with this a little bit easier on the two of you?
100,000,000%. I think we finish each other's sentences at this point. She's my sister from another mister. We know how our brains work. I think we share a brain at one point, because that's just how they operate. And we've done so many projects together where we're literally doing everything: set deck, costumes, props, practical effects. We're doing makeup, hair. We do all of it, really. So
we are.
The more we do it, the easier it is.
We don't mind getting our hands dirty. Both of us just are like, what? We have to do what now? Okay, let's figure out a way to build it in 10 minutes and with trash in the garbage. Like, I think we actually thrive on that, Minna and I. That's maybe like what we're one thing that we do share very much in common, is that we both sort of like the challenge of like, how can we make something happen
out of nothing?
something that seems impossible, or that the boys are telling us we can't do.
Right?
There's a lot of that where it's like, how are you going to make, whatever explode and do this and whatever? And it's like, well, theoretically, if you use this and this, and it's like, I don't believe that happens. You look it online, like somebody's made it. Yes, you can do these things. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's good to have two ladies thinking up these horrific things.
100%. I think oftentimes we will just have a silent conversation in front of the boys and not even say words. And then we figure out a solution with our mental capacities. And then all of a sudden it happens and they're like, how did you make that? And we're like, yeah.
Brain sync up. That's what we're looking for now. A brain sync up.
Secret women tricks.
See, I think a lot of that is just the guys not wanting to do, like, oh, you could cause this explosion. I bet you can't. Prove it. Oh, you guys did it. Great job. That was awesome. I would have done it, but I mean, you guys already had it. So
we didn't have to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just let them figure it out. Yeah.
Well, we always figure it out, and it always works. So.
And I seriously can't wait to see this whole film. Like, just watching the trailer, and from what I know of you guys, I'm expecting nothing but perfection, and I'm very, very excited to see it. And Bryan, you've worked on a lot of different genres of film. What's it like for you working on a horror film with these amazing cast members?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, like I said, I was just so lucky to share the screen with such talent. It made my job that much easier. It was definitely my first time doing an entire project of night shoots, which, by the way, for all the people watching, good way to get through 3 weeks of night shoots is an official Behold mug.
Yeah.
Tastes so much better.
Go to our Indiegogo campaign now. Get yours.
Yeah, that link is down in the description where you can get your Behold. You know, it's funny because I'll end up getting that because I seen it even in the trailer at the end when Llana, when you gave your speech at the end. I saw the Behold mug behind you. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be mine. I'm gonna own that. And you know, it's for me, somebody that grew up in a video store. My parents owned a mom and pop video store, and horror was just always something that I gravitated to. It was just always something that spoke to me. And as a kid, for me, YouTube was walking up and down the aisle, looking at all the different covers and trying to decide which one popped out to me the most. You know, seeing Hellraiser with him holding the box, or House with the hand hitting the bell. And nowadays, we don't get to have that type of gratification with the art. But then you make a movie like this where you guys see the thumbnail, I'm already drawn in. What's happening here? This just looks terrifying. And horror is something to me that is bigger than any other genre. We don't get rom-com con. You don't get people dressing up like Ryan Gosling to spin around Rachel McAdams in the air in a coliseum, you know. But you have people dressing up as
We should.
We should.
if you're a bird, I'm a bird. You know, so all these different things, and horror to me is more like a family than anything, because the minute you find out someone's into horror, you have that instant connection. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Jewish, Christian, Republican, you know, liberal. It doesn't matter at that point anymore. You're just, you love horror. Welcome to primetime, bitch. Let's talk about this shit. So for you, has horror always been something that you've wanted to work on, or is it just something that, you know, this one caught your eye and it was something you were really, really excited to be a part of?
For me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, horror is something that's always really interested me. This was my first time getting to dabble in this genre. And because of the 3 weeks of night shoots, I think we all really just, maybe through our delirium, we all just really merged in this fantastic way. I mean, they were all already a family, and I felt immediately as if I was pulled into this family, as if I had been working with these people for years as well. And it was just such an amazing experience. And yeah, I just felt so lucky to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I've said this 1,000 times, but you guys just seen the trailer. My excitement level the minute I saw the trailer went through the roof. And Bryan, be able to see you come in, obviously, like I said, I've gotten to work with Llana before, and I know her integrity, I know her character, and it's something that she's a light that definitely shines very bright. And then what I've known of Tehran, what I've known of Minna, it's just something amazing that this is a family that, like I said, it reminds me of a lot of the different indie horror communities where they're making their films, like cult cinema. They are a family and they welcome you in. It always goes back to me to like Trauma with, you know, Uncle Lloyd Kaufman. You have this guy that's always been so welcoming and so fun. And while the movies are outrageous and scary and disgusting, you know that the set is safe. They love the people that they're working with. And the last thing they want is for people to feel uncomfortable. And so more than horror movies, more than Indiegogos, you have great people here that have been working on these projects. And for you to be involved in this family, I really, really hope that this is a family tradition that can keep on going and we could see you in more cult cinema stuff in the future. But I know I said this at the beginning, guys, but we're at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, I have all of their social media links down in the description, as well as the Indiegogo campaign. So if you have the funds available and you want to help them create their art and have your name attached to it and maybe get an amazing coffee cup or something in return, make sure you're clicking this Indiegogo link down in the description and helping them out. Guys, please don't go anywhere. I have a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.